Imagine starting your daily commute not with a mundane subway ride, but with something that feels more like a theme park attraction. You're gliding over rivers, slicing through skyscrapers, and soaring across suspension bridges in the clouds. No, this isn't a fantasy. It's just another day on the metro in Chongqing, China, arguably the most extreme urban transit system on Earth. In a country known for pushing the boundaries of infrastructure, Chongqing's metro stands out not only for its sheer ambition, but for how it defies the very idea of what a metro system can be. Let's take a ride through this engineering marvel and uncover the city, vision, and sweat that made it all possible. Chongqing, the vertical megacity that shouldn't exist. Unlike most major cities, which sprawl across flat plains or gently rolling hills, Chongqing decided to do things differently. This city, home to more than 32 million residents, is stacked on top of a web of steep hills and narrow valleys. In some neighborhoods, the elevation difference between two nearby streets can be over 250 meters. That's roughly the height of a 70-story skyscraper. The terrain is so dramatic that journalists have compared Chongqing to Inception's Dream Worlds, or a real-life game of snakes and ladders. The nickname 8D City stuck, even if no one quite knows what 8 dimensions are supposed to look like. With mountains cutting through its urban sprawl and riverbanks carving up what's left, it's a wonder people get around at all, and for a long time they didn't. Not easily anyway. A traffic nightmare before the metro. Before the metro system arrived, transportation in Chongqing was chaotic, to put it mildly. Roads were perpetually congested, buses creaked through crowded neighborhoods, and at peak hours, even basic movement was a challenge. A transportation expert once labeled Chongqing's traffic the second worst in all of China. Something had to give. The city needed mass transit, desperately. But how do you build a subway in a city that's half mountain, half labyrinth? How do you even build a metro in this terrain? Construction proposals for a metro system had been floated since the 1940s, but each attempt was eventually shelved. Too expensive, too hard, too absurd. While cities like Beijing and Shanghai were building traditional subways through relatively flat landscapes, Chongqing's mountain maze made conventional tunneling nearly impossible. By the 1980s, a serious task force was formed to take a fresh look at the problem. Their plan? Go international. They visited metros around the world, learning how other countries manage steep gradients and complex terrain. What they discovered changed everything. Why Chongqing chose monorails. Traditional subways, with their heavy flat-track infrastructure, were simply too bulky and expensive to build across Chongqing's vertical extremes. Instead, planners turned to a more flexible option: monorails. Monorails are lighter and more nimble, making them ideal for elevated sections that curve tightly around mountainsides. They also require less structural support, reducing costs dramatically, almost 50% cheaper per kilometer than conventional rail, according to the city's estimates. Energy efficiency was another key advantage. Stations on monorail lines consume 10 times less power than those using conventional trains. Add in their superior ability to climb slopes, and the choice was obvious. But there was still a problem. Building elevated tracks across such narrow, hilly terrain was no small feat. Custom machines for a custom metro. Chongqing's steep streets weren't just difficult for commuters, they were a nightmare for construction crews. Using cranes to lift giant beams into place wasn't feasible on narrow, sloping roads. The solution? Engineers designed a custom-built beam transporter. This massive machine cradled sections of monorail track underneath its belly, crept along to the support columns, and gently laid the track into place. It was slow, steady work, but by 2005, the city's first line, Line 2, was finally ready. This line was mostly elevated, though a few kilometers dove underground toward the end. But even more impressively, Line 2 introduced one of the metro's most surreal features: the train that goes through a building. You watch that right. In the 𝐿izhba district, the metro train enters the 8th floor of an apartment building, rumbles across the 9th, then exits through the other side. It's not a gimmick. It's a fully operational station where people board and exit every day. This astonishing design wasn't the result of after-the-fact engineering. When the landowner and city planners realized that the new line would cut right through the proposed building site, they joined forces. The structure was designed specifically to house the train. To prevent damage from vibrations, vertical tubes were integrated into the building's core. The monorail's pillars sit inside these buffer zones, ensuring that even when the train rumbles through, the vibrations are completely isolated. And surprisingly, it's not that noisy. Residents report a sound level around 60 decibels, about the same as a dishwasher. Breaking records, one station at a time, Chongqing's metro system has set an impressive series of records, blending novelty with engineering excellence. 𝐻𝐸𝐵𝐷𝐸𝐿𝐵𝐷𝐸 Chongqing Station, the deepest metro station in the world, lies more than 100 meters underground, while Hualongqiao Station, the highest, soars nearly 50 meters above ground. Remarkably, these two extremes are just a few stops apart. The metro's bridges are equally extraordinary. The 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐫 Rail Transit Bridge, spanning 1.6 kilometers, is the longest suspension bridge built exclusively for metro traffic. The 𝐾𝐨𝐧'𝐭 Rail Transit Bridge, standing 100 meters above the 𝐿 River, is the highest metro-only bridge, and the 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐫 Bridge at 1.7 kilometers holds the title for the world's longest through-arch bridge, surpassing even the Sydney Harbour Bridge. These achievements reflect not only world records, but also the audacity and precision that define Chongqing's metro system. Monorail meets subway. While Chongqing's first two lines were monorails, later development saw the introduction of traditional subway lines too. Why? Because while monorails are great for navigating steep cliffs and building free routes, they're not always ideal for tunneling or high-capacity areas. So the city made a smart choice: build a hybrid system. Use monorails for elevated tracks. Use conventional trains for underground routes. As of 2025, 12 lines are operating, with 3 more under construction and plans for 23 lines total by 2035. Deep construction, deeper commitment. Some of the newer lines have taken things to even more extreme levels. Consider Hongyan-kun Station again. This single station took over 3 years to complete. Construction workers spent 20 minutes descending to the work site each day, and another 20 climbing back up. And yet, they built it. Just like they built the rest of the system, inch by inch, beam by beam, more than infrastructure. What makes Chongqing's metro so unique isn't just the height, the depth, or the records. It's the relentless determination to adapt transportation to the needs of the people, rather than forcing people to adapt to outdated systems. Where most cities would balk at the engineering challenges, Chongqing embraced them. Where conventional wisdom said, "You can't build that here," engineers said, "Watch us." The result is a metro system unlike any other, part sci-fi, part architectural wonder, and part everyday commute for millions of people. Looking to the future, by the time the network is complete in 2035, Chongqing could well be home to the largest, most dynamic hybrid metro system in the world. And who knows what new records it will break along the way. Will it build the world's longest urban tunnel, the highest mountain station, maybe even the first train that glides across a waterfall? With Chongqing, nothing seems impossible. So the next time you're stuck on your morning train, just remember, somewhere in China, a train is soaring above mountaintops, sliding through skyscrapers, and disappearing into the Earth's crust, all in one line. And for the people of Chongqing, it's just another day in the most extreme city on Earth. Thanks for riding with us through the wildest metro on Earth. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Chongqing's record-breaking, mind-bending transit system, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and hit subscribe. Got thoughts on Chongqing's metro? Ever ridden it yourself? Or know another incredible mega build we should cover? Drop a comment below. We read every single one. Until next time, stay curious, stay inspired, and we'll see you in the next mega build.